to the GSL Code S. It's time to decide who moves on first out of Group H.
Yes, not a big surprise on who is in this winter match. herO and ByuN, two of the absolute best in the world, both dominating their first-round opponents.
You know, it's incredible when you see the difference in skill that people can have with micro, with unit control.
It's wild.
It's just incredible.
The skill ceiling that you can witness of something like this being so high, where it's like there was no chance. Armani, even in the second game, he played well, but there was no chance. He could not stop that. And there are Zergs that can, not die to that, but that was phenomenal micro out of ByuN. It's just like, until you hit a certain level, like top of the world, like top 5 Zerg in the world, you're probably just not going to be able to stay alive.
Yeah.
Which I guess, that makes sense, right? If he's a top 4 Terran, you got to be about that in Zerg.
Yeah. It's interesting because it happens all the time on Battle.net, where, two players are of different skill and out-control each other. But when you have, like, the 32 best players in the world, and you still have moments where you look at it and just have to be awestruck, that really shows you where ByuN is. And I feel like we talk about ByuN's control so much, we actually skip over a lot of his strats or his really good build orders, a lot of them that are really unique to him. But it's the fact that he's so good at his control, it overshadows everything else. Anyways, we'll get more to that in a little bit. This is game 1, herO versus ByuN. Esports, PC games, these are all my favorite things. In the upper right, in the blue, he is
Root Gaming, herO.
ByuN versus herO, it's gonna be 2-0.
All right, guys, get ready. Get ready for the gold border here, because he's a GSL Code S champion.
Team expert, ByuN.
You're really
It's beautiful.
You're really selling that hard today.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about the gold.
Well, they should
there
have different levels of gold, though, because there's people that are multiple-time GSL champions, but only had a
like
simple
rainbows.
gold. Yeah.
What
about
colors that humans can't see?
Zest played, and did we see extra gold? No. Is that fair? No. What do you think about that, teams?
Hold on, I got to write all this down.
Oh man.
Now, we were, hyping ByuN a lot, and it's kind of hard not to after that last series. But one thing to keep in mind with herO is he definitely, in almost all of his games, seizes how the game is going to be played, and it really forces the other player to play a reactionary game. And that's why we saw this SCV loop around to the bottom, hugging most of the bottom, and then coming up to the right, is he's checking all of ByuN's normal hiding spots.
Now, is he going to proxy something? Or, okay, maybe just block the... Okay, you know what? Actually, this is just a one-base opener from herO, which is, pretty popular right now in Korea. And the fact that his SCV is sitting there means the Nexus is going to have a hard time getting made. But yeah, I want to mention about the micro of herO just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that he's probably the best microer of Protoss since Parting retired.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
And his micro is out of control. He does things where I have to rewatch it a few times because it's how did you even make this work? So definitely someone who can fight against ByuN on that similar level. And then Engineering Bay going down, so he's going to force that Nexus far away.
Very nicely done. I don't even know if he should have necessarily shaded there, but he's now that's going to take a little bit of the oomph out of his rush. But herO already down here in the center right, expanding.
Yeah. Single pylon going up right now. Can he actually get the SCV off of this command center?
It's going to be to the RNG of where the SCV ends up actually going.
God, the SCV's... Yeah, he needs to stop this from building. Oh, my God.
He did it.
Oh, my God.
That means the CC can't finish.
That is a big deal. Now, he's making a Cyclone already. There is the slight chance that herO spends too much of his firepower on the depots and stuff, and then maybe the command center can still be finished.
Well, he hasn't used the pylon cannon yet.
Yeah, which is awesome. There's no reason he should be using it yet. I think you do the damage you can get done with this, and then you're going to go down and take care of that command center, hopefully.
I think you're totally right. And when he takes out the second depot, it's at 31 of 15. Now, the final thing he wants to get is a reactor, because that takes a comically long amount of time to finish. herO.
This Zelot is just beefy as can be. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so as this comes down, he has to decide. Now, ByuN wants him to overcharge that pylon.
he's trying to bait it out.
He wants it so bad right now. And he's not going to do it.
Yeah,
herO
he's just
won't
not
bite.
biting. He will not take the bait.
Now, if he starts hitting this other one, yeah, that's exactly where it goes.
All
Oh,
right,
God. He's going to force the cancel.
I think you're
Yeah,
right.
it's too much damage.
ByuN is fighting. He's on his back right now, essentially. Hold on, ByuN's coming in, though. SCV's repairing. The CC's getting low.
Yeah, and actually he allowed the pylon to target up on these on the Cyclone.
My God.
And that is a big mistake.
The save.
Yet this was, if herO had right-clicked there, he could have lost the Zealot and actually killed that command center. But instead, the pylon ended up retargeting. So
he's still hitting this Oracle.
Greedy,
that was 6 SCVs that were killed there, which is not bad. But I mean, considering it's not like the main objective, but one of the big ticks on the checklist when you do that rush is to actually deny the command center.
Yeah, if you can deny it, if you make the Zealot, that's when you're like, okay, I'm trying to cancel a command center.
Yeah, exactly. And if you do manage to get the command center to cancel, you've uprooted the Terran economically.
And especially if they take this long to cancel, if you get it canceled right at the end of the rush.
Yeah.
If they insta-cancel, they can just remake in their main base. But then their command center is so late.
It's a siloed set of minerals, for the command center that's not being used. And yeah, I mean, if you can take that out, it's so good. herO, not surprisingly, is going into Phoenix here, Phoenix Adept. Now, that being said, that rush still slowed the Terran down a lot. The 2 depots in the reactor was very nicely done.
Yeah, no question. It was still a worthwhile rush. It just, I think it could have been a little bit better there. Maybe a little bit greedy at the end, maybe a little bit sloppy, however you want to end up looking at that from herO. Something like that could be something that he ends up regretting later on if he loses this series.
Hold up. Very nice targeting there, and now hitting the Oracle. Now moving up, but bruising that's actually pretty big. Any of those that are bruised, especially the Phoenixes as well.
Yeah.
When you consider that Marines are going to have stim and be able to connect that onto the Phoenixes, even a matter of a split second, with the Phoenix being alive is actually pretty huge.
By the way, look at this. It's a siege tank and a Raven on the way, so ByuN looks like he might be setting up for a very aggressive attack. But herO has actually skipped getting his 3rd Nexus, and it has gone into the Glaives and +1 very quickly, and all the gateways before a 3rd Nexus. So this is different from a standard opener of Phoenix Adept. A lot of times with that, you want to get that 3rd Nexus very, very quickly, maybe off of just 3 gates, maybe off of even just 1 gate. Of course, this was an aggressive opener from herO, which changes the math a little bit, but he's going to have a lot more adepts than ByuN would imagine if ByuN moves out very soon.
Now, hold on a second. Excuse me. I'm back. I had to cough there. Now,
Thanks.
Let's see. Let's just let me show everything that's happening. Now, we've seen this happen before. Sometimes Terran players seem to leave their base probably before it's really an okay time too against Phoenix Adept. Now, I don't know if Terran's going to do that. We also have a proxied gateway here, but in the bigger picture, we want to watch for that because we see a lot of Terran players that move out, and their army's not bad, but it's certainly not good enough to combat Phoenix Adept.
Yeah, it's mostly when you just see a group of bio move out that it's okay, well, this is what the Phoenix Adept wants to play against.
Ooh,
oh, that was a sick
that was
snipe.
sick.
That was a sick snipe, bringing everything in at once and minimizing what would get targeted there.
Letting some of that damage get soaked, but overall he assassinates the Raven there.
Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, this set of units that ByuN was making is something you can attack earlier with than a lot of the things that we talk about because it's got the Cyclones, the Siege Tanks, stuff like that. But he's picking off a whole bunch of it right now. These Phoenixes are doing fantastically.
Yeah, and now coming in here and shaving off a lot of SCVs. And it does all go back to what we talked about earlier with herO, where herO really dictates the way the game is going, and the other player has to react and respond. Whereas so many other players, they survey their opponent, try to make a few calculations, and try to alter the course of their game so that they end up with a lead. herO just comes in there punching and then runs back out, kicks you in the knee and runs back out again, throws sand in your eyes, whatever it takes.
It works out well for him, man. He is basically the best at this style of play, especially the aggressive aspects of it.
All these guerrilla tactics, just coming in and hitting from everywhere. And he identified that ByuN is moving out here. So comes in, wipes out 5 SCVs, and now backs up as he's probably planning on trying to head-on engage this army.
Okay, so +1 and Stim are both going to finish up pretty soon, but there's a good amount of +2 Glaved Adepts and a lot of Phoenixes. So I don't think that 3 Siege Tanks and a Cyclone are enough to upset this army.
I agree, Artosis, especially with the pickups in the back like this. GG, herO takes game number 1 in a match where he was starting out with control and kept that to the very end and just crushed ByuN. Well, I think what might have been a little bit of a premature push. Then again, ByuN was gimped from the get-go.
Yeah, he did get gimped early on, and it was kind of hard too. With the Phoenix harassment, that was flying in very often, doing a lot of damage. ByuN was not really making units to make the Phoenixes have a hard time coming in to harass. If you just have your Cyclones as your tech anti-air, and you're making a lot of Siege Tanks, then the Protoss player is not so afraid. He knows you don't really have a bunch of Widow Mines that can screw him up, so he's kind of open to harass.
ByuN wants to get out of this group right away. And here's the problem, Artosis. Map number 2 is Abyssal Reef, which means there's a lot of different strategies that herO can open up with to dictate how this matchup's going to go. ByuN has to react perfectly. Maybe ByuN takes the initiative to try to play around that. We'll see. In the upper left, in the blue, he is
Root Gaming, herO.
in the bottom right, in the red, he is
Team Expert, ByuN.
And I just want to throw this out there real quick that herO doesn't have a GSL championship yet, but he's been of that level since Heart of the Swarm, where it's like, well, this guy is absolutely one of the best Protoss in the world. He's been a strategic leader for a very long time, has had some of the best controls, some of the best late game, early game, mid game, everything. Kind of a full package. And the way that he's playing currently, and he has been since basically after Katowice, like he really started to peak out where it's like, oh, damn, you are just right up there. You are absolutely one of the best. You know, if he were to win this season, I think it would be a well-deserved victory for him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, herO's like the quintessential, we're getting a shot here of the hot 6 zone, guys. If you come early enough, you can take a seat at the hot 6 zone. Or if you're in the studio, you can sit in that empty chair because nobody seems to be there. Or maybe somebody's in the bathroom and I'm going to cause a problem in the studio. I don't know. The choice is yours. But yeah, he's the quintessential Protoss that I guess you could say makes you want to rage.
Yeah.
A lot of nerds have knocked their water cups over at their PCs because of styles like herO's.
Yeah.
Every nerd watching knows what I'm talking about. You play in Starve, you have to have that big cup of water next to the PC.
He maximizes his damage very, very well.
Yeah.
No question about that.
And you know, this is so herO-esque, is the fact that he opened up with that aggro build game 1. And then, oh, look at this. It's the Reapers again, man.
Yeah.
It's like so perfect. Not like that was hard to get the probe or anything, but if you just look at how he plants his mines, it's like so completely perfectly set up to match the trajectory of whatever's moving in that path. But yeah, this is so herO to do, right? To open up that way game 1, and then in game 2 to put the proxy Stargate down here. However, ByuN being really diligent goes down here and checks for it.
Yeah, that's a very good check. Oh my god, his pylon is actually a little bit late here. So his Oracle that he has started does not start, but the Adept, there should be an Adept almost here to prevent this pylon from dying. He needs this Oracle to get out if he's going to win this game.
Okay, now hold on.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
Oh, that was so close.
That was crazy. Now the Mothership Core is coming. He's lost that Reaper, a couple Marines on the high ground. There's going to be 2 more and a Cyclone. This push, I don't think is going to really work out.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially with the Stargate being slowed down or denied back there. That's pretty huge. And, of course, immediately the Cyclone comes in here. He's done some good targeting over there. Zones back to hit that Mothership.
Okay, forces that back a little bit. Of course, the vision's still being given here from the Adept. But,
yeah,
like, the most he'll get, I guess, are the 2 depots.
Yeah, the reactor's in kind of a funny spot just because of the way this is set up and how Terran walls in. But it looks like he's trying to do a little bit of damage. You want to be careful not to overextend here. But yeah, the command center's done. This is not the same rush we saw in Game 1.
No, it's being pushed back a lot quicker, and let's not forget that the Oracle has been so delayed. Of course, I think he's going to assume that there's going to be an Oracle still coming in just quite a bit later.
Yeah, and look, he's already ready. Actually gets in the pathing of where the Oracle wanted to go. He's got the Adepts with the Oracle, hoping maybe he could shave off some Marines, but instead loops the Oracle back around here. But ByuN is basically matching wherever the Oracle's movement patterns are.
Yeah, ByuN's defense very, very strong here so far, but herO's taken his Nexus behind this. Not quite done yet, but Void Rays on the way. And the Void Rays definitely can point towards this being a super strong all-in.
Nice save back there. Now the Adepts come in here with the Oracle, but these Adepts, I don't think they're going to be able to do that much. They do take out the Widow Mine, which isn't bad. But yeah, I mean, this has been a much bumpier ride here for herO overall.
It has been a much bumpy right now. Oh, okay, the one Void Ray, I guess that might end up being it.
Yeah,
I was just wondering because
Cyclone.
Sometimes we see Protoss players do like crazy Void Ray all-ins.
Yeah, especially when things start to stack up.
Yeah.
You just get enough of the Void Rays. The Void Ray is kind of a funny unit in this game, but like in the early game, if the Terran is just bruised enough, the Void Ray can tip him over.
Oh, yeah. It outranges the Widow Mines. It kills off. If it's close enough, it kills a Viking.
There's large portions of the game where it's not that helpful.
Yeah.
But in the right moment,
it's like you can float it for like anti-liberator or drop or something like that. But you don't. It's a very specialty unit, I guess. If it was a herO and Hero of the Storm, it would be a specialist.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes it's like a damage, and sometimes it's.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sometimes it's an assassin when it's against a Cyclone.
Now the Marines are actually poking in here. The Mothership core is actually pretty bruised, but I think herO has to go back. Actually, been a little bit surprised to see herO poking up there, but or rather ByuN, excuse me, poking up there. But I tend to just I basically stopped questioning anything that ByuN does with units on a map because he just knows so much better than everybody else.
Well, he's out there right now with a lot of Marines and a Cyclone, so he might actually poke into this third base. And with all the Stalkers kind of across the map looking for some pressure, this is going to be a forced cancel.
Absolutely,
this is a good move.
Yeah. And it seems like he had just enough back at home that the Stalkers couldn't really do anything back there. So we have Blink on the way. Now, I'm curious to see if this army can get back home or if herO will try to hunt it down and dismantle it.
This is very painful as well that he's lost this third base, because if you've made a Void Ray, you have an Oracle still out, and you're going Stalkers with Blink, you really need to get that quick third so you can get into Glaives, have a huge Gateway army to be able to hold off whatever ByuN is going to bring. But having that cancel, this is a really important moment for ByuN in this game.
These two guys really make for some great games. And the Marines are coming forward here, and they are going to get the Void Ray, but it's almost somewhat inconsequential. I think for the pace, or I should say where we're at in this game, for what these guys need to do. But that was probably the best that ByuN could have asked for.
I say it's a good trade for him for sure. Now, making a lot of bio at the moment, mines and medevacs as well, getting all those upgrades. Just some good scouting going on from herO while he tries to get this third Nexus up once again.
There's a chance Terran will try to poke in just a little bit here. The third base, especially the one that he's taken over there, that's certainly a location that Terran can try to attack into. And it's not always that easy for Protoss to defend. Now, he's setting up another pylon over here. He might be using this to try to counterattack the would-be third base.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that, actually. If he can... ByuN is not taking a third base yet, so that is one thing. He's actually going up to 5 Raxes, so that's really, really heavy on units. If he can hit before Glaives are done, maybe he gets something done here, but herO definitely hitting his build order right on, other than the late third Nexus. And I guess what herO, like the scariest part for him is going to be these initial big bio pushes.
Now let's not forget, this is ByuN with infantry. So he does a lot of stuff that we don't see normal people pull off. And Stim's done. He's going to come in here with these Widow Mines and potentially poke out as the Widow Mines get planted. herO escapes back up here. The medevac is headed northbound into the main right now as ByuN is slowly inching forward here.
Looks like he's slowing everything down quite a bit, but this Widow Mine drop getting into his main base. He doesn't realize it quite yet because he's microing in the center of the map.
herO's not looking, and these are connecting brilliantly with 8 kills right there.
That is absolutely huge. He does not even have a robo, which means he needs a warp and a cannon, which means that the mines get to go off again. The mines recharge quicker than you can get that cannon up.
That's right.
Really big, important moment right there for ByuN. He's in good shape.
Okay, we have a lot more warp-ins here at the third base. Now, notice ByuN is not overextended. He knows he has to play a really clean game here if he's going to win. So the Adept coming forward here to try to soak. Oh! Oh, my God. It's like the idea was there, but the placement was not. He still gets 6 more kills on those probes. Nice pickup, pulls back out.
Yeah, these force fields are doing pretty well overall, but ByuN, with that good micro, gets out quite a few of these units. Might need to back up for the time being. Let some more of these rallies come down right now.
Okay, Liberators are coming up. This actually allows Terran to hold some ground and not just try to use finesse. ByuN meant to do that, by the way, when he lost the Viking. Coming up forward.
I never questioned ByuN on the map.
This is how I cast it now. I'm like, no, he meant to do this too.
Yeah. He needed to free up those 2 supply very quickly.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Great hits right there by ByuN. Meant to do that as well.
Yeah, totally meant to do that. Protoss is going to counterattack here. Probes are being evacuated, headed southbound now. Terran has to hold the production area. He needs to get these Stalkers to blink up. The rest of the Adepts to shade on top.
That is such a scary Protoss army to be hitting in here. But ByuN has so much. He's already cleared out the natural as well. This is definitely looking favored towards ByuN, but he doesn't have a lot of money, and herO does.
I think, actually... Hold on.
I think ByuN has it.
Yeah, I believe ByuN has this, in part because Terran buildings can fly, but I think just overall, even if he brings his army back, he wins that. GG! ByuN's evening it up at 1-1. We're going to go to that final match between these 2 players.
Yeah, really good play there out of ByuN.
Yeah.
Quite like that, especially that meant the part where he meant to lose the Viking.
That was so sick.
That was the
best
best
Viking
moment
in there and gave herO the confidence to walk forward and go into 2 Widow Mines.
Yeah, like what was that all about, herO? Oh my gosh.
Okay, herO. He's been doing kind of the same build the last 2 games, but you know, in different proximity as far as where the Stargate is.
Well, finding that Stargate and finishing off the pylon, if that Adept had forced the Reaper off and the Oracle came out a little bit earlier, maybe that game just goes to herO, right? Like, he'll stack up that damage very quickly. It's a very strong build he opened with, but ByuN with some great defense there and great micro as always.
Bring your jacket, bring your mittens, because map 3 is Frost. herO versus ByuN. How is herO going to open up this time around?
I thought for sure you'd make it a rhyme. Bring your jacket, bring your mittens, because if you don't watch this, we're going to kill 5 kittens.
All right, guys. Game number 3, herO versus ByuN. Let's find out who advances first in tonight's GSL Code S. Today's actually. It's Saturday.
That's true.
Saturday afternoon esports.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Tasis.
That's right. In the upper left, in the blue.
Root Gaming, herO.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is
Team Expert, ByuN.
Okay, look, I like the gold border versus the blue border, but we need more borders than that, right? For like 2-time GSL champs, like people who get to the round of 16.
We need the rainbow border.
Yeah, I want to see like 32 different borders so everyone just has their own color and none of it means anything anymore. It's like, well, this is the Armani border. It's for a player who's been into Code S round of 32 twice, but has only won 1 game.
Now, notice this is a light blue versus a dark blue.
Yeah.
But wasn't there a movie a long time ago about a video game tournament? It was a fiction movie.
The Wizard?
Obviously. Is that what it's called? With
The Nintendo tournament,
one?
right? Yeah.
Is that movie good? I think I saw that
since
when I was
a kid.
12.
Yeah,
I feel like I should rewatch that because I could probably make a bunch of jokes about it.
Yeah, we should both.
Somebody tweeted us if there's any other movies that involve video games that are like old.
There's
we can make jokes about.
There's definitely a few. Like
there's the Mario movie, which I refuse to believe ever happened. That old one. That was weird.
Well, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution. But I
remember watching the Mario movie, and I was like, I think I was like,
isn't that the
or
opposite
something?
of what a Goomba is?
Yeah,
like,
I'm like watching this, and I'm like a little kid, and I'm still watching this. Like, am I on drugs? Like, what is going on in this movie? This has nothing to do with what Mario was about.
And that was, I believe, that was Mario Leguizamo as Luigi in that, which is
who?
Mario Leguizamo or whatever his name is. Like he's actually a pretty
know.
famous actor now.
I don't know his StarCraft ID. I don't know who you're talking about. Who is that? Is that
He's just
what are the
he's a
movies
good
was
actor.
in? Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen him in movies though, like pretty often. Like he's like the 5th most important person in every movie. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
He's not the main guy, but like he's in a lot of movies. But yeah, there's like wasn't there a movie called like War Games where like it wasn't exactly like a video game tournament, but it was like computers and like there was like nukes that were going to go off or something. It was like 80s computers and like
that was back in the around the 80s
like
and early 90s. There was always like one guy who was the computer expert, and he was like finding addresses and like finding out all this information about people. And nowadays, that's just like a guy with Google.
Yeah,
you know. It's actually very unfortunate when you go back. And he's like, he's the computer guy, and he's like got goggles on for some reason, but he doesn't have them over his eyes. But you know what I mean? He's like really eccentric. His hair is like maybe dyed like red or something like that, like an off red or something, an amber. Yeah, that whole concept doesn't sell anymore.
not so much.
There's a lot of good jokes you can make out of that, though. So, Reaper heading up here. He does spot that it is the Oracle. And one thing to point out, and I know I'm going to be pulling way back in StarCraft 2 history with this, but remember when Squirtle had that group? Maybe you don't, but long ago, he had nothing but Terrans.
Yes.
And he did the same opener, but not exactly, and altered it many different times, so he kind of ended up in a different spot each time. I feel like herO's trying to do that with ByuN in this series.
Okay. Just, yeah.
That's my story. You go.
Okay. No, it's really hard to follow up such a great story, such a quality story like the one that
this
you
is
just
why
told.
I'm here, guys.
Oh my gosh. Oracle coming in. Going to be able to do a little bit of damage.
Once again, the Oracle's driven out here. ByuN constantly trying to adapt, although he has to be aware that throughout this series, herO's making adjustments to try to stay ahead of ByuN. It's really up to ByuN in this style of play that herO's using throughout this series to just constantly try to react and deflect and defend until he gets to a stable point where he can start pushing in.
Double Oracle right now, chasing down this medvac. There's also 2 gates on the way for herO, so all this before a 3rd Nexus. He's being kind of super safe. There's not really any chance that this drop should do any damage.
Okay, he's coming in here now and takes out the Reaper after the Reaper does a little bit of scouting here, although there's still a little bit of build ambiguity when you see what he saw back there. Doesn't tell you that much. So 2 Oracles is one of the things he adds in for this.
It's pretty cool. You definitely can do a lot more with that, even lay down some stasis wards possibly. It's kind of looking a little bit like Super's build, but he's adding in the Phoenixes as well. Of course, always kind of evolving are all these matchups. Yeah.
So we'll see if the Terran actually manages to put any pressure on the 3rd base. Right now, he's going to try to come in here and pick off anything extra he can, and that's actually kind of a bold move to come in like that. And he actually does manage to get away. There were enough Marines down there in the bottom trying to defend in case the Oracles came in into the main.
Yeah, I really like moves like this where the Protoss player will just fly in with the Phoenixes and Oracles and kind of be brave for a moment. Because if you even reduce the count by anything, right? Like he just used a little bit of shield health, maybe a little bit of hull damage and energy to kill 5-6 Marines. And then when the push comes, it has 5 or 6 less Marines in it. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
How that works?
That's crazy.
This whole thing called math?
Yeah.
It's the language of the universe and of StarCraft.
Yeah. He's coming again. He's going to try to assassinate the Viking. He does get it just in time, and so far has not lost any units.
It's so sick.
Nicely done. Glaives are about halfway done, so we're going to be going into the Phoenix Adept combination here. Now, this has kind of been a theme throughout today, but a lot of the Terrans we've seen, they seem to leave their base too early against Phoenix Adept. I know that Phoenix's Adept is like the big thing everybody likes to harp on, but it's actually, if you go back and look at a lot of the games that we've had, Terrans walk out of their base and lose their stuff. And you can't leave too early because the 2 units of the Phoenix and the Adept, especially paired with the Oracle, because it can tag units so you know when you get a good engage, it's too strong. You have to turtle to the right point in time where you have just an overall better, more developed army. Now, I don't necessarily think ByuN's going to do that, but we've seen a lot of Terrans move out. A few seasons ago, it was actually even worse, where Terrans were continuously trying to drop while Phoenix Adept was on the map, which I don't even understand. But that's what they were doing. Now we're going to see this coming out here. Now this drop's a little bit different from the drops I was talking about, where it's mass Marines in the drops.
Yeah,
it's going to be Widowmine Connects.
Well, I especially like something like this when you see the Phoenixes like on the bottom of your base, then you send out a double Widowmine drop from the top. The only detection you generally get early game is an Oracle, and then eventually you might make some cannons. So if you get in there before the cannons, you can get some significant damage done.
He's coming into the main now. There's one cannon already over here. And actually, look at the timing on that. That is so
very
clean.
Good. Very good stuff.
Stim is now done, so Terran can try to maybe poke out here. But again, I want to emphasize, because we see this so much, is that you got to be very careful how far you actually move out. Do you move out at all against this? Because sometimes the Protosses just get a really proper engage. They've tagged your army like we see here. Also, if he wins this, he's going to have a very powerful counterattack.
Yeah, he's going to have a pretty ridiculously massive one. I love these type of baiting moves. Only gets a single Phoenix, unfortunately, there.
Yeah, if that was the clump, that would be huge.
Yeah, but this move out that ByuN is doing, he can't quite do all the way. In fact, he starts to pull back. I love the Stasis Ward. Moves like this are so powerful because this army already doesn't match up super well against Mass Adept Phoenix this early. So if you lose any of it in a Stasis Ward, Protoss can kind of jump on top of you.
Okay, are the Phoenixes actually going to come in, or is it a fake? He is not, and that was a good play because that was right where those 3 Widow Mines were, and that's exactly what Terran wants to get.
This is some good baiting from ByuN, actually trying to get him on top of the Widow Mines, but you do have to be careful because this is a lot of Adepts and Phoenixes. If he were to pick up all these mines and then some of the Marauders...
I thought he was actually faking that.
Yeah.
But he comes in, I know he picks up the Marauders first as they're the bulky damage dealers, and he pulls the Phoenixes away as they start to get softened up. He's continuing the shade underneath this. He wants to wait for that boost to finish up, but that was actually a really smart location for ByuN to head to. He can kind of abuse this ridge here.
Yeah.
I don't know if this army can get back home, but this, again, goes kind of back into what we were talking about, where it's like, I know it's frustrating for Terrans because throughout most of StarCraft 2, they were used to just being able to drop at will. But this is kind of how the Protosses have learned how to play around it, and Protosses are really able to dictate how the Terran reacts with this.
You got to make sure that you're teching up sufficiently to be able to take out this army composition. And he took a pretty good battle, I would have to say, for herO. But ByuN still has a good amount of units. Walking back right now. Nice wall in right there as well. A few Adepts actually finish the shade, but they aren't going to get anything done.
Okay, they poke in. Now, again, this is a cute. This is cute. He sends a medevacs up along with that first. The probes don't pull away, so it's not working. But we have another funny situation where both players are now at each other's throats.
This is turning into a base trade really quickly right now. That third base
needs to lift that wall. Oh my God, that was close. Man. Because he needs to buy time. He needs to buy as much time as possible. He's pulling the SCVs. The Phoenix is coming to pick up the Marauders again.
Oh, he's trying to pick off some of these Marines as well. ByuN stimming into the natural right now, killing off a ton of probes.
ByuN's done it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
He's just barely got enough. Luckily for him, he did get that wall up in time. And ByuN, it looks like, should be moving on, as economically the Protoss is completely and totally dismantled.
Super dead comparatively. Even though he killed a lot of SCVs, you have the 2 command centers still, whereas herO is sitting on just 1 base, trying to do something to hold on at the moment, even flying back with his Phoenixes, but I think it doesn't even matter if he kills this army.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay if the Terran's army, or not army, economy is kind of in tatters because the Protoss's economy is just not functional right now. And even staying down here and abusing this ramp is so good. Once again, he's coming in. Really good Widowmine connects there on the Phoenixes. And he doesn't, he lifts up that Marauder a little bit late, and this is where ByuN, his targeting can get quite abusive. Now, he has enough to push that out, but he basically has enough to make a Nexus, and that's it. Oh, look at that.
herO's so got nothing left, man. He has the GDP of a Coral Atoll right now. There's no way for him to actually make any more units and get anything done against a Terran that's dropping mules, has 2 command centers.
Well, all ByuN has to do is stay, well, I guess he doesn't have to stay back. He can kind of do whatever he wants, but I feel like moving out like this with the possibility of the Adept counter, and that could be the big equalizer. The worker count's 28 to 23. The big difference is that there are 2 locations Terran can mine from, whereas for Protoss there's only 1.
Yeah, and that one just doesn't even really have mineral patches left at this point. I think we're going to be seeing GG at any second.
I believe you're right. Now, Protoss is going to try to loop around this army. I think it might end up getting sandwiched. There's just not much that herO can do.
No, he's walking around with like 15 army supply against 76.
Yeah.
If you look at that, it's quite a difference.
GG. ByuN wins game 3, and he is our first survivor, moving on to the round of 16. a guy who never hides his feelings. He is definitely happy to get this over with.
Get out in first place. Very well done, and that does give a little bit of a question about herO's place. I still do think, he should be a favorite to make it out of this group, but he is beatable. Like, these other guys have the skill. Like, Armani, he's hit herO twice recently in online cups and took a game off him both times and had close games in the other ones. So he's got to be careful about that.
Congrats to ByuN. I think we all expect him to probably get pretty deep, possibly even win this GSL contest. He looks scarier and scarier. And to be honest, I didn't think that was possible. But the control, especially in the TVZ against Armani, oh my God, it was so good.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
Zerg got to
seriously, somebody make a highlight reel of all those the Reaper plays. It's just insane.
That is
if the Reaper was a new unit and it just got added and ByuN did that, we'd have to take it out of the game. Everybody would just be like, it's too good.
감사합니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Okay, ByuN just
와,
advanced.
이거 마지막 세트를
Congratulations.
이기네요.
Thank you.
이거 불리하던 거 아니었어요?
그쵸, 되게 불리했는데
네.
그러니까 저도 졌다고 생각하고 마지막 한 방을 준비해서
네.
꽉꽉 모아서
Did you feel behind in
나갔는데
the last matches?
준호 형, 그러니까 김준호 선수가 너무 무리하시더라고요.
I felt
그래서 한번
behind.
기회가 있었던 거를 제가 잡았던
And
것 같아요.
so I just gathered my army and made one big attack.
시작해가지고
I knew herO would be very
기분이
aggressive.
좋으셨던 것 같아요. 마지막에 그 기쁨이 느껴졌거든요.
So my
저
timing
제가
attack really worked well.
제가 그러니까 상대 빌드도 예측을 했어요. 예측을
네.
하고
I could really feel how happy you were when you
모든
won the
게 다
final match.
연습대로 됐는데
네.
그 건물을 안 짓고
I really
있다가
thought he
건물을 안 달고
used that build.
있더라고요.
Everything went as I expected in the way that for which I prepared.
손풀 겸 해서 열심히 했는데
네.
그 1경기 때 손푼 게 2, 3경기
My
때도
armor upgrade wasn't
네.
done, and that really
와,
messed
그
with me.
앞경기 또 이 박지태
But I was
선수한테
pretty warmed up
이야기
after
안
the
할
first
수가
match.
없어요. 정말 대단했어요.
So it worked out pretty well.
그쵸, 저도 그 프로스트 하면서 오늘 왜 이렇게 잘 되지? 그 생각을 하긴 했는데
네.
That was basically
제가 여태까지
perfect.
공허유선 들어와서 사진을 되게 많이 썼는데
네.
오늘이 최고로 잘 컨트롤 잘
So,
된 것
yeah,
같아요.
after that game on Frost against Armani,
한명 사진으로 잡은 저글링이 60기가 넘어요.
I could feel myself that my micro was just
이게 우리랑 같은 손
god tier,
와,
like just insane
이 손으로 한
micro.
겁니다. 신기하네요.
저 작년 블리즈컨 마지막 경기도 3정형 사신으로 이겼는데
네.
또 맵이 똑같더라고요, 프로스트.
네.
그래서 한번
The last
써봤는데
BlizzCon when I won the
아직까지 3정형
championship,
사신은 저만 쓰지만
네.
강력한 것 같아요.
I used the same build.
아, 정말 멋졌는데 이렇게
And I won the
멋지시려고 왜
championship.
지난 시즌에 30년
And it still works well to this day in GSL.
지난 시즌 제가 진 선수를 보면 몇 면을 보면
You're still having
김동원
great
선수하고
performances.
김기혁 선수인데
네.
Why did you get eliminated out of
한 분은
32
4강
last
가지고
season?
한 분은
네.
우승까지 하셨잖아요. 그 선수들
네.
상대로 2대1, 2대1 풀세트 갔다
네.
생각하면 뭐
Said, well, I look at that. Ryung made it top
만족은
4.
안 되는데 그래도
네.
진 선수한테 졌다 생각했어요.
네. GSL 이거 내 무대인데.
And all my
제가
opponents
작년에
made really
여기서
great
제일 많이
results in the
인터뷰했는데
last season. It was just, it was a tough group.
떨어지니까 오늘 이 인터뷰가 너무
그쵸.
너무 고팠어요. 네.
네. 팬들도 저희도 정말
I know I had a lot of winner
부러웠습니다.
interviews in
라인이
previous seasons.
돌아왔어요. 이제
And I
김지도
wanna have
선수도
lots of
이제
winner
간판의
interviews once again.
승률이었는데 이걸 넘어섰고 또 16강까지
Seems like ByuN is
진출했는데 오랜만에 조지명식이잖아요.
그렇죠. 원래 지난
And
시즌
now we have group
올라왔으면
nominations coming up.
1순위 시드였는데
네.
그걸 행사 못해서 너무 아쉽고
네.
이번에는 시드도 없더라고요. 저
네.
혼자 그냥 조용히 있으면
Well, if I
어떻게
had
되지
made it to the round of 16
않을까
last
생각하고
season, I would
저는
have had the seed
그러니까 좀 쉽게
for
가는
changing the groups
것보다는
round.
네.
But since I got eliminated last season early, I don't get that.
들어가서 좀 그러니까 아니 그러니까 좀 그런 선수들이랑 매치가 돼야
네.
연습을 더
Because I'd rather have
더
a
열심히,
group of
더
death than
간절하게
just
할
have
것
an easy
같아요.
group.
아,
지금도
오히려
That motivates
나에게는
me.
GSL이 더 맞다.
For when I
아니,
practice, I like to be motivated.
한 단계 낮은 선수들이랑 하고
네. 아, 알겠습니다. 아, 오늘 보여준
So you'd like to have a group of
코스라면
death?
선수들이 안 뽑을 것 같아요.
그랬으면 좋겠는데
Says, well, maybe slightly weaker than group of death.
제가 그 조지명식에서 제일 늦게 뽑히는 게 게이머로서는 진짜 굉장한 영광이라고 생각하기
Gary says, I
때문에
think if any other programmers watch your games today, I don't think they'll pick you.
저희도
He goes,
한번
yeah, I don't think they'll pick
하고
me.
지켜보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 오랜만에 팬분들도 참 즐거워하셨어요. 막 박수도 치고 그러셨거든요. 팬분들께 한마디 들려주시죠.
네, 오랜만에 이렇게 16강
I think a
올라왔는데
lot of fans who support you,
제가
they're really
작년에
happy to see you
너무
advance. Any words to those
잘해서
fans?
많이 자만했나 봐요. 그래서 실력이 많이 떨어진 것 같은데 지금 다시 열심히 연습하고 있으니까 걱정하지 마시고
Yeah, I think
또 오늘
maybe I was
저녁 경기도
overconfident.
이길
You
테니까
know,
꼭 지켜봐줬으면
So-
좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
I'm trying not to be
다시 한번
overconfident right now.
16강 진출 축하드립니다.
And I have another match in
네,
SSL
이렇게 마지막
tonight, so
H조의 첫
keep
번째
watching me and
신인상
cheering for
진출자
me.
변현우 선수와 이야기 나눴고요.
I will show great games at my
이벤트
for my
안내해드리겠습니다.
fans. ByuN is just way better than everybody else. I thought herO did a really good job, though,
Yeah.
in that series. I think that was the best he could have delivered, to be honest. There were a lot of hiccups, though, in Game 3, and I think that's where things kind of spiraled out of control there for herO. But herO still has a very good chance of getting out of this group.
Yeah, I think he's definitely favored. He's one of the best players in the world right now, and
Yeah.
he's shown that for quite some time. So we'll see if he can do it. But first, we have Special once again playing. And
All
will he
the
be able to take on
non-Koreans
Armani?
of the internet, we need to give Special, or as we'll be calling Major, your energy, the last non-Korean hope of the GSL Codes, and we'll be going to that after this short break, so don't go away.